Hey guys, April here, and I wanted to do a side-by-side, quite literally, comparison of my new Kahele with my older Ehukai. So these are the two of the OC1 models from Puakea Designs. Not pictured here would be the Kahele, but that boat, personally, it's a boat for slightly larger paddlers. I am a female. I fluctuate between 140 to 150 pounds. And so both of these boats are ideal for me. So I was really hard pressed to, I don't know, make the switch from the Ehukai. I've enjoyed it for many, many years, and I didn't really see much benefit in upgrading or changing over to the Kahele. But after paddling the Kahele this past summer in numerous races, you know what, I'm convinced. They made a believer out of me, and here in the exact same color, so you are not even like distracted by the potential of a different color. I've got this side-by-side comparison, and the way I've set this up to go through the differences today, you're gonna notice, so I've set our seats so that the butt, I've lined up the butts of both canoes. So this is exactly where I would be sitting, and that's our center line, and we're gonna do our measurements and everything off of that. So right off the bat, you'll notice that the Kahele is shorter. If you were to take our handy dandy tape measure, you would notice that the Ehukai is 20 feet 8 inches long, while the Kahele is only 19 feet 3 inches long. So that length, that didn't all just come off of the front. Granted, it's probably about a full foot there, and the rest is lost here in the back. So that is about another 9 to 10 inches. So I mean, it's substantially shorter. The benefits there do include garage storage. However, the whole weight on both of the boats, it's the same. To pick them up, they're both about 18 pounds, and then fully rigged, they are both 25 pounds. So you're not changing any weight. Now let's look. So if you stand right here, you'll also notice that the Kahele has a much sleeker profile. Just the sitting area alone is much more squat, more compact. The Ehukai sits higher, both right here where the front Yaku enters. It sits higher on the bow. The bow sits, I don't know, let's see. What do you see there? That's probably like 2 inches or so. That's very scientific. Obviously, the really cool thing about the Kahele that I think makes it really, really magical when you get in the bumps is that this plumb nose. So what they did is they took off all of this volume up here. So this came up higher. About a foot of it was always out of the water and not engaged anyway. So the water line on the Kahele, despite its shorter boat length, when we sit in the water in this boat, the water line is actually still longer than the Ehukai, making it a fine choice even in flat water. So your water line here for my body weight was probably about 18 foot 6 inches, and when I'm riding the Kahele, it's all the way at 19 feet, even though the boat itself is only 19.3. So we only got 3 inches that engage more in that choppier water, but in a flat water, our length is about 19 feet. Let's check out the sitting areas of both boats. So you'll notice much, much narrower sitting area, and also the old seat kind of like sat up against these rails. I know a lot of people, if you're a little wider in the hip, this rail, because of this seat, would kind of dig in. So if you're not really narrow hipped or thin, and even though the width of the Ehukai is advertised at around 16 inches, the sitting area that I'm measuring right now, it's right at like 15 3/4, whereas the Kahele, I'm definitely seeing it at 16. So this is a little wider in the hips, is a little bit more comfortable. And this new seat, look at that lip. Look at the size of that. That's like a centimeter or two. So even if your butt kind of spills over the side, it's got some nice cushion. Because I mean, I just ate all those Christmas cookies and I'm gonna need this boat for my butt spilling over the side. Well, let's look at the fin placement relative to the end of the boat. And then relative to the sitting area, 29, 33. So this, relative to the entire boat, the fin is further back. There's more space behind the rudder when it comes to the Ehukai. That's gonna be pretty nice for tracking, but personally in a downwind scenario, I want that fin scooted up just a little bit. And since we do already have the seats set evenly, you'll notice that the Ehukai's rudder is closer than the Kahele's rudder is closer than the Ehukai's rudder. So the further forward you get that rudder in the boat, the more responsive that's going to be in the downwind bumps. So I don't want it set too far back. So that's probably one of the reasons I like that so much when we get into those open ocean conditions. Overall, I've enjoyed the Kahele like a whole heck of a lot. Another really neat and interesting fact, I don't know what it necessarily means in the world of physics, but if you measure the Yaku to Yaku length, it's identical for both boats. So even though the Ehukai was longer than the Kahele, your Yaku to Yaku length holding out the ama is the same. And I think that that might just make it a really awesome, stable, like strong platform. So if I'm gonna go out and surf in some waves, like real surf, not downwind bump, but like breaking, surfing, surf break waves, I think the Kahele, because of the greater proportion, like its rectangle over its whole, body size being bigger, that ama and Yaku rectangle being bigger, it's gonna be like kind of just stronger for me to go surfing and get wiped out in the waves. So I'm excited about that as well. It wouldn't be a good comparison video if I didn't mention a few of the small things that I think make the Kahele quite nice, little creature comforts, if you will. The bungees that come with the Kahele are much thicker than my old Ehukai bungees. They also cover a larger surface area, so I can carry more crap. Or you dirty humans out there, I can pick up more of your trash and your plastic when I go for paddles. Shame on you all. Secondarily, I can't tell you how many times I caught my thumb. Like I'd go for a really hard front stroke, forward stroke, and I would get my thumb caught either right under here on the foot cover. I love the footwell cover. It works wonders when you're downwinding, and it's keeping the water out of the footwell. But I did, not just on this screw, which is set up, but on the cover, which also is set up much higher. You'll notice that the footwell covers on the Kahele, they're rounded. There's no really hard edges to catch my skin. And all of those screws are recessed, so bleed no more. So I'm pretty excited. I love my Ehukai, I truly, truly do. But the Kahele has made some major improvements in the OC1 game, and it's pretty much my go-to boat for any competition. You may be asking yourself why you would buy the Kahele over the Ehukai or choose one versus the other. Maybe you're in the market for an OC1 and you're just torn. They're both amazing boats. You're honestly not going to go wrong with either. But obviously, if you're short on storage space or you're going to be doing more downwind paddling, the Kahele would probably be the better choice. However, if you live somewhere where you're paddling on a lot of flat water, the Kahele is still a very good choice. But what if you wanted a new Ehukai? That's okay, they still make it. It is a nice boat choice for someone who is looking for like very fast, flat water speed, or maybe you're looking on the Craigslist ads or for a used boat and there's two side by side. Who knows? The Ehukai is still a phenomenal choice to get you moving and get you paddling. Don't get like, oh, I've got to have the latest and greatest, the newest Kahele. It is pretty freaking sweet, but the Ehukai is still, like I said, a solid boat. It paddles really well, and they're really well made. They weigh the same, and so you're gonna enjoy either boat, just being on the water, having a good day in the sunshine.